So, you're thinking about building a game room, or maybe you have some cool displays that you want to show off to people, but you don't want to mess them up. Well, I'm here to help you. If you have been watching my channel recently, I finally got to do my new game room tour where, I actually got to build this game room very recently because I bought this house late last year, so I've been working on it diligently. And throughout that process, I have made some really cool kind of adjustments to the way my old game room was, especially in the world of displaying things. I really, really love displaying things. Don't we all, right? The whole point of a game room, of course, is having fun and functionality, but secondarily, it's definitely showing off your collection. So, I'm going to share with you some of my awesome tips, some of the stuff I do in my game room to really kind of bring home some of the, the wow factor with some of the stuff I own. There's also some cool stuff I want to show you that I've done for certain displays that maybe could not be done in different ways. So if you're interested in tweaking your game room or maybe making some cool, way to show off some of your stuff, stick around because today is going to be a very fun episode. So I'm going to start off with something kind of relatively easy to get, and that is video game arcade cabinet Marquees. Some of them are expensive, I'm not going to lie, but these ones, Bionic Commando is pretty cool. The Mario one's kind of nice, although it's a little burnt. But these ones are all very cheap. A lot of times you'll go to game conventions, or even certain people who, have like pinball repair stores or something, and they'll have a bunch of these Marquees, and you can get them for dirt cheap. I think all these I got for maybe $10. The problem is how do you display them, right? So a lot of them have all kind of different ways to be affixed to an arcade machine. Some fit into a display. Some of them, like this RoboCop one, have a peelable sticky back. And, you don't want to peel that and make it a one and done for sure. You don't want to, it's hard to figure out how you do it, right? Because they're all weird sizes. There's nothing you can really do. You can't find a standard maybe picture frame right out the gate. So I found a great solution to this problem. So this works best with the plexiglass Marquees, but you can actually go get custom frames made at your local hobby store. You can go to a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's, and they'll do this kind of stuff. And, custom frames are expensive, I'm not going to lie, but if you have a plexiglass Marquee, they'll actually just basically put the frame around it, and boom, there you go, you're done. And then all you're doing is paying for the labor and the actual wood itself for the frame, which is generally pretty inexpensive because they don't have to custom cut glass or anything like that, and they'll even attach the hanging to the back of it. You can get some really cool Marquees out there, and then go to one of those places, frame it up, and then boom, you got some sweet wall art. Now, I said this in my game room tour video, and I stick with this, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a quick, reminder if you haven't watched that whole thing. But in my mind, every poster you get should be framed. I'm sorry, we're not in college anymore. You can't just stick them to the wall with a little bit of that kind of gooey, putty stuff. You can get frames like this at Walmart for really, really cheap, and they just look 1,000 times nicer. The best way to mount these, I found, are the little command strips, the 3M command strips. They're cheap. I will say the best way to do it is to use 3 strips, 2 at the top on the sides, and then 1 on the bottom. For you mathematicians out there, you'll know that a point is a point, 2 points make a line, 3 points make a plane. So if you add 3, it's always going to be flat. And make sure you use a level. Make sure you use a level to get it on there nice. But 3 is the magic number. You just kind of push the 2 on the top and then press firmly on the bottom down, and that will make it stay in place. And since they're kind of Velcro, if you ever need to take them off, it's as easy as just pulling it directly towards you, and then you can remove the command strips without damaging your wall or paint. And like I said, with posters, you don't really need a screw. You're not putting that much weight on it. But that is something that I always recommend, using frames for your posters, and of course using the command strips to hang them. This is another thing I brought up in my game room tour video, but definitely needs to be re-brought up here, and that is floating shelves. Now, I personally use my floating shelves, obviously, for my video game vinyl kind of collection. It's cool because video game vinyl is both useful in the sense that it is music and you can listen to it, but also very cool because the art is typically usually pretty nice. I will say that floating shelves are a really great way to display them. They're a really great way to display many things. Actually, at one point, I was thinking about putting amiibos on these, but Then I actually just set one of these records on here to get it out of my way while I was setting up the game room. I was like, oh hell no, this is this is what we're doing. And you know what? I definitely don't regret making that choice. But I will say that you can use floating shelves all over the game room for all sorts of stuff. I'm thinking about adding more. Verticality and filling up wall space is a very good thing to do, especially because in most game rooms you don't have the luxury of space. So this is just another neat thing to kind of give yourself something cool to look at, but also be able to display more of your items. Display cabinets are also a very good way to obviously display stuff, right? Go to your local game stores. Oh my god, so I got this for free from a GameStop. They were getting rid of it. This is one of the cases that they put DS games in. And yes, those are replicas of Ebony and Ivory. I just had to show them off here at the same time because I think they're very stupid and I love them and they were $10. But the cool thing with these kind of display cases is you don't have to obviously put in what they put in them. So, you can do whatever you want. You can move the shelves around, resize them. But on top of all of that, there's other things you can do to kind of make this thing even cooler in your game room. And what I'm getting at is this. Actually, I had a good friend of mine who has a vinyl printer print me off these cool Nintendo logos. Put them on myself, was not a big deal. And it looks just way cooler. It's like, I know this isn't a Nintendo branded cabinet, like realistically, but now it's like I have one and I didn't pay $10,000 or whatever the hell they make you like pay at those crazy, the kiosk and collecting groups are awesome. Don't get me wrong, but my God, not all of us are millionaires and can afford stuff like that. So if you want something neat in your collection where you can kind of get that cool kind of feel, get one of these cabinets from a GameStop or something and then make it yourself, DIY. That's the name of the game. And all the stuff I'm kind of doing and showing in this video is mostly DIY, obviously. But stuff like that really makes your game room pop, and it also doubles as really good storage. There are many different versions of something like this, but console stands, especially for your really cool, rare consoles, are dope. And a lot of them, like this one, can be 3D printed. For me, luckily, I have a really good friend who has a 3D printer and just printed it for me, no problem. You can also buy these 3D printed items on like an Etsy type store. People have them available to you. If you have your own 3D printer, I'm sure you know the websites that have the kind of the code or whatever that lets you print these things, and most of them are free just to download. But like for me, I have this really cool Gundam GameCube. I got this really cool GameCube holder, and you know what? I mean, come on, that looks freaking sweet. But they have them for all consoles, Xboxes, controllers, all sorts of stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for something neat like that, because it's a lot cooler than just leaving it in the box. But also it just displays a lot better with one of these custom stands. So I'm not gonna lie, this one's gonna be a little bit weird, but I have a Nintendo Power Glove, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, I used to use it a lot in my unboxings. But there's no good way to display a Power Glove unless you have like a shadow box or something. I went on Amazon, just kind of wild hair, and found that for like 13 bucks, you could easily get a mannequin arm. And you know what? That's freaking kind of cool, right? I mean, come on, like the Power Glove is a neat item, but there's really not a good way to display it. And you know what? Using a mannequin arm that just stands up, I thought it was kind of cool. And it's one of those weird things that I've never seen anyone else do, so feel free to steal my idea, because it's something that I really, really love in my game room. So this one is more of a pro tip. If you've noticed, recently, as in the last week, I have added these soundproof panels all over my office, which has been great for making videos and great for streaming. So if you're a streamer, this one is for you. These panels suck ass. Like, they're so hard to put on your wall. Some people say you spray adhesive, it doesn't stick. Some people say the 3M strips, they do stick to the wall, but they do not stick to the foam. Or you could just liquid nail them to your wall, but then that's going to damage your wall in the future. I got a great idea, and my God, did it work. I went to a crafting store, and I basically bought those, when you're doing a science fair project, those boards that fold out 3-way boards. Took those. They are 3 feet by 4 feet. These panels are 1 by 1. And using liquid nail on them, I got the panels to stick to the board. I cut certain boards to different sizes for smaller shapes, kind of like this one. And then I attached these panels that I've now created to the wall using the 3M command strips, kind of like I do with the posters. So I got these soundproof panels. They're on my walls very easily. They're removable. Nothing is damaged. The whole shebang was super cheap. The panels was 48 for 30 bucks on Amazon, and those little boards that I got for like the science fair boards, I think were like $4 each. So I mean, all in, I'm here maybe 60 bucks, and now my room is like way more soundproof. You know, like I said, if you're a streamer at home and you don't like any sound coming through on your mic, this is a very cheap, very easy option that does not damage your house. If you're renting, you don't have to explain anything to your landlord. If you're owning, then you don't have to worry about fixing anything when you move out one day. Definitely the way to go, and I am very glad it turned out as great as it did. Wanted to give a quick shout out to the floating picture frames. I don't know what the hell you call these things, but they use magnets to like clamp on the top and bottom for weird shaped posters like this that I don't want to go buy a custom frame for. These work awesome, and they're super cheap, and they're magnetic, and they look pretty cool. And you know, how else are you going to display these weird, like kind of small, long GameStop signs? Pretty much this is the only way, but you know, without having to spend a lot of money, that is. But they're also very good for Nintendo Power magazine posters, because those were historically very long. So just another neat way, a neat thing you can get. Like I said, they're very cheap. I think they even have them at IKEA. I know they have them at Target. That's where these came from. And, you know, they look pretty cool. So all the credit is going to go to my wife on this one. I love enamel pins. I think a lot of people probably do collect enamel pins. I definitely do, because I go to Disney so much and I go to so many game conventions. But the problem is how do you display enamel pins? Most people maybe put them on a backpack or something, but then you can't really see them. My wife had this awesome idea to take this kind of like table runner cloth thing and use it as like a pin board, essentially. So as you see, it goes up over a door, and you can stick all of your pins on the front, but the nifty thing is how it actually is secured on the back side. On the other side of the door, it just drapes over and hooks down to 2 command strip hooks that just hold it in place, so it can't go any further in the other direction. So when you close the door, it just looks like a regular old thing, and you have plenty of room for plenty of pins. So if you collect pins, it's a very, very cool way to do it, a really cool way to display them and show them off. So this is the most recent addition to my game room, and also the reason why I had the idea to even make this video. These 3 are vintage GameStop displays. They are window displays, so you would peel off the back and stick them to a window, essentially destroying them when you're done, because once you stick it on something, you can't ever take them off again. And I got these at a convention recently, and I loved them. I mean, look at it. I got Mario 3, Donkey Kong Country 2, Kirby. I would assume that's for Air Ride, but I'm not quite sure because it doesn't really line up with when these 2 came out with. Either way, these things are great, but I was always nervous. Like, I don't want to take off the sticker on the back. And then even if I do, what am I going to do with it? Stick it on just a picture frame? Well, that's when I found these glass floating frames. They're at Target, different sizes, of course, different prices. But the way they work is on the back, you actually open up a little kind of holding area where it's essentially 2 pieces of glass. So I took these awesome decals, and rather than take them, take the sticky off, essentially making them valueless and ruin them, I could put them in between the 2 panes of glass and then put it all in like a regular picture. And then boom, you get the same effect. They look really cool. In the future, if I ever wanted to, trade them to someone or sell them or give them away or something, the sticker itself is still intact and unused. But for the time being, I can display them and they look really great. So this, like I said, this is kind of what got me thinking to make this video, but this is a really cool way. If you've had some stickers or something, and just had like, man, how can I display it? This is definitely a way to do it without ruining them. So that was some of my tips, some of my tricks. I hope you gleaned something useful out of them. Like I said before, certain things you don't want to ruin, especially because, who knows, maybe one day you'll sell them or give them to someone else, or, at least have the ability to do so. So some of the stuff I did definitely helps in that regard. But hey, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about some of the stuff I've done with my game room, some of these ideas, and share your ideas, because more importantly, I want my game room to be better, and to do that, I need help from you guys. So hey, I'll be looking forward to reading those comments down below. That's gonna do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It would be fantastic. But as always, my friends, take it easy.